Hey, how's it going everyone? I'm Farrell SC, and welcome back to Single Player Adventures. So in the last episode, we got ourselves the artifact of the Massive. Yes, we took the saber down to the lava cave. Very nerve-wracking episode, at least me recording it. It was a bit nervy at some points, but overall we got through it. We got ourselves the artifact of the Massive, and we are done with the artifact requirement for the Broodmother fight. Now we just need to get a few more little trophies like the sauropod vertebrae and stuff like that. But mainly we need some dinos, really. Whether I'm going to breed up Rexes or maybe go on like a Megatherium hunt, we definitely need a Uranus. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we need. I don't know which route I'm going to take yet, but we'll see. But today's episode is going to be a little bit different. In the Artifact of the Clever episode, I received a comment from Forever3, who is a viewer of the channel, asking me to go over server settings. Now, like the settings that I'm running on Single Player Adventures. I'm a firm believer in the idea that, yes, guys, we heard this all throughout elementary school. We heard this all throughout high school. The idea that if one person in the classroom asks the question, most likely 7 other people have the same question but are too scared to ask. Yes, we've all heard the same speech. I'm a firm believer in it, though, because I was one of those 7 people that never asked the damn question because I was too scared. So, if I see someone telling me, hey, go over server settings, I'm going to assume there's more than just one person that's interested to see them. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over the settings, and I'll explain like why I have the settings the way I do, basically. So let's get started. First things first, difficulty level 1.0. So this is to give us the highest level dinos that we possibly can. It also makes it the hardest experience basically in the game. Also gives us a little bit of better loot drops apparently. That remains to be seen, but I don't know. I have it at 1.0. That's the first requirement on console to get yourselves 150 dinos. Moving on, dino damage, player damage, structure damage, player resistance, dino resistance, structure resistance, and XP multiplier are all at the default setting of 1.0. So, I did mention, and I have mentioned in previous videos, that this series is in the single player setting, which I will explain down below. I'm not going to move the XP multiplier, and here is why. Single player setting already puts you at like, I think it's a 1.5 XP. If I move this to, let's just say 1.5, it's gonna piggyback onto the single player multiplier, so it's gonna make it astronomically fast that we're gonna level. And to be honest, we're not even 15 episodes in. Yeah, I think we're at like 13 technically with this one. It's like 13 or 14, somewhere around there. And my character's already over level 100. Like, 1.0 is more than enough, honestly, to get yourself there fairly quickly, basically. So, if you guys are going to do single-player settings, I would say stick with the 1.0. Don't go too nuts with it, because it will ruin the experience. I feel like 1.0 is that, like, sweet spot, that happy medium, where you are grinding, but at the same time, it's not ridiculous amount of grinding just to get to that one level. You know what I mean? So, moving on. Which taming speed is going to be a controversial topic for a lot of people, but taming speed, basically, if you guys don't know, if you're playing this game, you guys do, but specifies the scaling factor for dino taming speed. Higher values make the taming faster. I am mine at 10, which is high, I will admit, is high, but most of the servers that you guys go on for multiplayer is 20, 50, 100, 120 in taming speed, so comparing to that, it's not that fast, honestly. Yes, if we're going to tame a Parasaur right from the beginning, if you're going to tame a Lystrosaurus, a Moschops, those are going to be quick tames. It's only going to take 2 or 3 berries kind of thing. Parasaurs, like literally 30 seconds and you get yourself a Parasaur kind of thing. I get it. But at the same time, when I was going to get my the 135 Rex over at Carno Island, I'm not sitting there for 2.5 hours waiting for my Rex to tame on up, but instead, I'm only there for 30-35 minutes, which is still not that bad, especially when I'm trying to put out videos for you guys. So 10 for me, again, sweet spot, happy medium. I like 10. Let me know in the comments down below if you do agree with that or disagree. One more thing I will say about taming speed with 10 is not all dinos are we going to get a perfect tame on either, which is good. You know what? I'm indifferent about it. But like when we go over to Scorched Earth, unless we have cooked mutton, we're not getting a perfect tame on a high phyla. Like it's, I think we'll miss a level or two by using prime meat. Cooked prime meat will still miss a level or two, and it has to be cooked mutton in order to get ourselves a perfect tame like phyla. So it does, again, it balances itself out, honestly, for me, and I think 10 is kind of the sweet spot. Moving on. Structure damage repair cooldown, this is just the regular 180, which means when something gets hit, like if your house gets hit, anything like that, you have to wait about 3 minutes or 180 seconds in order to repair it, basically. This is just the default setting. Dino harvesting, the default setting's 3.2. I just put it at 3.5. That's just a personal thing. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. To me, it just looks cleaner. 3.5 versus seeing 3.2. It's just the me thing. That's all. Harvest amount. Now, I am on single player, so 3 is definitely the sweet spot, the perfect spot for me. Where 1, if I have this any higher, if I hit a tree, I'm gonna get like 400 wood, which is insane. You shouldn't get that much. But at the same time, I want to be able to knock down one tree and be able to make at least a foundation out of it. Yeah, and 3 again is my kind of sweet spot with it. I like that setting, and it definitely does it. There's still a grind to make stuff, but at the same time, it's not overkill with the grind like you would get on official with 1.0. Imagine me trying to build that damn waterfall thing on official. Like, no. Moving on. Character water drain, character food drain, dino food drain, both dino and player stamina drain, health recovery for both the dino and the player, and harvesting damage. This is all 1.0. This is all just default. I'm not going to change any of those settings, and yeah, I mean you can, but I just don't. Yeah, moving on. Dino count. Dino count, this is something that you can change on PC, I believe, if you go into your INI settings. I think there's a way that you can increase your dino count, which basically means you can have more dinos spawning on the map. On the story arcs, that's a good thing. Because I feel like there's some places, especially I've noticed on the island, where it's like a big open field, and there's just one parasaur, like, in the middle of it. Which wouldn't make sense. Like, I feel like if it was one dino there, it would be a carnivore that literally wiped everything out, like a really high Rex or an Allopack or something like that, that just wiped everything in its path out. But, yeah. If you're on the story mode and you're on PC, yeah, increase it to 1.5. It might actually work out a little bit better for you. If you are going to go over to the custom arcs, though, 1.0 is more than enough because they have so many more spawns on those islands, on the custom arcs, so yeah, that's where the setting kind of gets tricky. But on console, we are lucky, but at the same time unfortunate that we cannot switch this. We can make it lower, but we can't make it higher. You can't go more than 1.0, so it is what it is. Moving on. These are all the settings I have set up here, like allow third-person camera, that's a default. Notify player joined is a default, even though I'm on single player, which is kind of weird, but I just never checked it off. Enable crosshair. Now, this one is kind of interesting because I personally like it. This basically, when you throw it, when you have a spear out, when you're going to throw a spear, when you have a bow and arrow, crossbow, gun, whatever the case, there's going to be that little hash in the middle which kind of helps you aim. Now, if you want a more immersive experience, turn it off, because then you really have to work on your aim and everything in order to kill stuff. You don't actually have the markers there, which is definitely really cool. I would definitely like to dive into that eventually. I think that would be kind of fun. Force no HUD. So HUD is basically on the side of the screen. We have there is it shows you how much XP you have, like that little bar. It shows you food, shows you water, shows you energy, like stamina, shows you all that on the side. This disables that, so you can't see anything, which again, if you are going for that immersive experience, like if you want to act like you're the character in the game, like it's you, take that off, because in real life, obviously, we don't have a HUD on the side of our, like, screen and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have a HUD that shows, oh, I'm hungry, you know? We have to go by instincts, which, turning these off, you really have to kind of go by the character's instincts of what's going on, which would definitely be interesting. Let's put it that way. Next thing. Again, I do not have this checked, but again, a really interesting one that I've been flirting with kind of doing at some point is hardcore mode. So this is kind of insane. So here's the one good thing about it. It is so realistic. Enables hardcore mode, which player character reverts to level 1 upon death. So what that means is everything is gone. You lose everything. You start over. So if you're level 100, like if I had this on right now and I died, I revert to level 1, and I assume you lose your dinos, you lose your house, you lose everything, and it's just like starting the game over, basically. Which is really stressful, but it sounds so intriguing at the same time. Let me know if this is something that you guys would like to see me do eventually. Let's put it that way. I'll leave it up to you guys, because here's the thing. I think that'd be really fun. I think it would be really, really stressful. It definitely changes your decision-making when you go into certain situations. But we all know, and I'm not saying that this is for ARK specifically, because every game has this. Every game has bugs. Every game has glitches. And nothing would be worse than getting to a boss fight, or for any reason, getting kicked out, whatever, and you die because of something that wasn't your fault. You know what I mean? So that's one reason I would say, let me hold off on that. But let me know in the comments down below if that's something that you guys would like to see, because I'm going to be honest, I don't think a lot of YouTubers have even done a hardcore mode. So that'd be kind of cool, I think, to try to take on, basically. Moving on, though. PvE mode. So this basically, the reason why I use this is, especially now that we have cryopods and stuff, I can throw my cryopods out without getting the cryopod sickness and the buff and the timer thing. Yeah, you guys know what I mean. Turning this on helps that. Disable friendly fire. So I have this checked, obviously, when I'm in PvE mode. If I shoot my dino by mistake, I'm not going to damage it. Again, if you want that immersive experience, turn that off. Basically, you have to watch where you're shooting, because again, in real life, if you shoot something by mistake, you're still going to damage it, you know? So, like, yeah, I just have it on just so I don't make the mistake in shooting it one time and accidentally killing a dino, you know? Okay, show map player location. So when you pull up the map, you can actually see like a little icon of where you are. Now again, with that whole immersive experience thing of turning off the HUD, turning off crosshairs, turning off this would help you too, because now you have to learn the area that you're in. When you look at the map, you can't rely on a little arrow showing you where you are. You're really going to have to use a compass at that point. You're going to have to rely on that GPS to know where you are. It just gives you, again, that immersive experience. Moving on. Tributes, download, survival download, no item download, no dino download. So this, basically, if you're on servers, this allows you to basically move your stuff over from one server to another. Single player makes absolutely no difference for us. I think if I turn this on, I wouldn't be able to move my dinos over to another map, actually. So, I don't know. I don't know what this does. But anyways, moving on. Maximum difficulty. So this forces the max dino level to 150 regardless of map. So turning this on, plus turning on our difficulty level to 1, allows us to get 150 wild dinos. So this is how you get max dinos on your console settings. Now, on PC, there is a way that you can change the settings. It's like an override setting that you have to put into the game user INI, I think, game user settings INI, where you can change it to 150, 180, you can do 300, you can do whatever really you want. It's just based on, there's plenty of YouTubers have done videos on how to exactly do that, so I would say look it up because I'm not too familiar with it, but I know it's something in your game INI settings that you have to input in order to change your dino levels to 150, 180, whatever you want to do. Moving on. PvP Gamma, this is just whatever that's already on. Single player settings. So this is what I've been talking about for this entire video. Single player settings allows a little bit more XP for your character. It also actually increases the amount of melee that you get when you level your dinos in melee. So it says here, modifies various internal statistics to support a faster-paced survival experience for a lone player or a small group, which I can tell you, it does actually make it a faster-paced experience, since I can tell you I'm already level 100. So, yeah, it definitely helps. I think the melee might be a little overkill, so... but for now, it totally works. It's a little too much when you bump 20, 25 levels into melee, and your saber is already over level, like, your saber already has over 1,000 melee on it, like... Yeah, so that I would say is a little but it is what it is, no big deal. Moving on. But overall, I do like single-player settings. I'm not saying I don't. I actually really, really do. Corpse locator, so if you die, there's a little green beacon that shows you where your stuff is. I keep it on. Again, immersive experience, turn it off. It's up to you. Disable structure placement collisions. So this allows place structures that clip into the terrain. It just gives you a nice cleaner build, honestly. That's really why I have that on. Unlimited respec. So this is another one. If you have this turned off, you can only use one Mind Wipe tonic per level. So, for example, right now I'm level 100 or 101. I can't remember. If I use a Mind Wipe tonic to go into a boss fight where maybe I want to get rid of a lot of the weight that I have and put it into health, because why do you need weight for a boss fight? Or I put it into fortitude, depending on if we're going to face the dragon or whatever the case. If I'm level 100 and do that, I have to wait till the next level, 101, to use another Mind Wipe tonic. Which, I get it on official and all that kind of stuff, 100%, I get it. On single player, yeah, that's stupid. I should be able to switch back anytime I want, have as many Mind Wipe tonics as I want, whatever. So after a boss fight, I don't want to come back and now be at default 100 weight, and then I can't do anything about it. I'm kind of stuck until I get to another level, and then I can give myself the 400 weight that I typically run with, with a Mind Wipe tonic. So this allows me to just have a Mind Wipe tonic whenever I want to change my levels and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have that set up. Okay, so we're done with the first page. Okay, advanced. Okay, starting from the top here. This is all default. Cave building and flyer carry. So I just keep cave building on. I'm never going to build like next to an artifact or anything like that. If anything, maybe with the harder caves, I'll make like a little outpost. Just so if I die, I can just spawn inside the cave and like get my stuff a little bit easier. But that's kind of it. Flyer carry, this allows me to carry other dinos and stuff like that, like on the Argent and stuff like that. So that's obviously checked. Moving on, this is all just the normal settings and everything. I will ask you guys this. This setting I'm a bit confused on. This is non-permanent diseases. So if checked, diseases will not be permanent. Player characters will then lose diseases when they respawn. So what this is saying to me is that since I have this not checked, if we go into a cave and I get Mega Rabies, will my new character respawning in automatically have Mega Rabies too? Because then I probably should have that checked, right? I don't know, but I think it's going to come down to us getting going for one of the artifacts and actually getting Mega Rabies to figure out what the settings should actually be for us, because I don't honestly know if this should be checked, if it should not be checked. I'm not really sure. So I guess we'll figure that out. If you guys do know, let me know in the comments down below to make my life a little easier before we are in a permanent loop of Mega Rabies, if that's in fact what that means. Again, this is all just the regular PvP settings and stuff like that. We're not running PvP on this, obviously. It's just single player, so it's whatever. Now this is all the settings that you have for mating and stuff. Now, I will tell you guys right off the bat, the settings I have, do not take them with a grain of salt. I do not have the statistics all figured out. I do not have the equations figured out and stuff like that in order to have the egg hatch speed, the baby mature speed, and the imprint timer all on, like, synced with each other, basically. So I kind of just threw numbers in there and called it a day, and it's been working so far. But if you want actual, like, legit settings that will work perfectly for you when it comes to the imprint with the mature speed and the egg hatch speed, search YouTube, because there's plenty of people that have done the videos on this. I just personally haven't taken the time to sit down and figure out the settings for myself. Okay, that's the disclaimer. Let's move on. Lay egg interval. So this is when we do kibble eventually. We're going to need some eggs. So this allows my archons and stuff to lay eggs faster, basically, in order to make kibble, or uteranuses and stuff like that, and yada, yada, yada. You guys know. Mating interval, I have this at 0.001, which is the lowest we can do on console. If I go any lower than this, it automatically defaults to 1, it won't let me go any lower. So basically what this means is once my dinos are done mating, they wait about 20-30 seconds and then they start again. So it's the quickest that you are allowed to actually have on console. On PC, I believe you can change this to even lower times where it's literally instantaneous. I think you can even change it to 0 on PC if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, moving on. Egg hatch speed. So this is higher numbers decrease by percentage of the time needed for fertilized eggs to hatch. I currently have this on 50. Again, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what these numbers actually are. So I have 50 and 60 here for baby mature speed, which is the amount of time it takes for a baby to go from baby to adult. Because again, I don't want to sit around for days and days waiting for a baby to finally grow up. I want to use it when I actually, like, you know, I just want to have the new dino ready to go. So anyways, moving on. These guys are baby food consumption speed and the harvest health. I have this just at 1.0, just official default settings. Resource respawn period. So this is at 0.25, which is a fourth of the speed. It's quicker basically for stuff to respawn more frequently. So anytime I knock down a tree and I walk away a little bit, the tree will respawn. Basically, that's what that means. Now this is what I was talking about to sync them with the egg hatch speed and the baby mature speed. I am mine at 0.005. This is the interval multiplier for cuddles, which obviously, if you guys know, the cuddling and idea is it allows you to get your imprint on your dinos. Now, this is really, really low, the 0.005. The idea is that I am able to take a look at the dino, see what it is, see what it wants. If it wants something I don't have, I can quickly cryopod it and throw it back out, and it re-rolls the cuddle. What do we want to re-rolls the cuddle? I guess whatever you want to call it, the command. So like if I get one that's like, hey, you need to give it prime meat jerky, which I might not have prime meat jerky. I just cryopod it, throw it back out, and now it's like, oh, it wants to go for a walk. Boom, I could do that. That's no big deal. That's quick and easy. So, yeah, it's a bit controversial, but at the same time, I don't have the settings all figured out and everything yet, so this is kind of what I have. Moving on. If you guys do want to see a video about these settings and stuff like that, I recommend Flinger Foo's channel. He actually has a video. It's called Coffee Time with Flinger. He did it for the Season 5, which is his series that he's running now on soloing the ARK. And he kind of explains why he has his egg hatch speed, his mature speed, and his cuddle interval multiplier the way that they are. So he kind of goes into the math a little bit of it. Definitely recommend if you guys do want to get an idea of how that works. Check out that video, Coffee Time with Flinger, Season 5. Moving on. Baby cuddle gray speed. This is all 1.0, 1.0, 1.0, all this stuff. Day cycle speed. So this is half, which means that my day is 2 times longer than typical, basically, than official. Daytime speed I have at 0.25, which means my day is really, really, really slow compared to night. So the reason behind that is I hate recording for you guys in the middle of the night. It seems a little ridiculous. You can't see anything. There's no point. So I have my days spread out really, really, really long in order for me to get my episodes done during the day. And then worst case scenario, if the episode does go into the night, I have it at 50 night speed, so it's really, really, really quick. So basically, night takes 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm back into daytime, and I can continue the episode from there, basically. Spoiling time. So I have this at 2.0, which doubles the timer on spoils, like spoiling meat and stuff like that. So the good thing about this is raw mutton, raw prime meat that literally has, like, I feel like it's almost instantaneous that it's gone. You actually have a chance to get back to base and cook it before it spoils. Yeah, so that's why I have it at 2.0, which just makes it a little bit quicker with those kind of things. Item and corpse decomposition time. So just to go over this, item decomposition time, perfect example. You have died, you spawn back into the game, and you have 35 different skins from achievements and stuff that you've done. What do? We all throw them on the ground and call it a day because it's just useless junk, basically. Some of them are cool, but most of them are useless junk, let's be honest. This has about 2 minutes, basically, until all that stuff will just go away, basically. Or if you throw stone on the ground, if you throw anything on the ground individually, it's going to have 2 minutes, and then it's gone forever. Corpse decomposition time is when you die, or if a dino dies, and the dino's body will stay there, or your body and your items will stay there for 30 minutes. So this, again, might actually have to do with the single-player setting, where 0 and 0 is default, but I get about 2 minutes here when I drop an item, and 30 minutes whether I kill a dino, and the corpse will stay there for 30 minutes, or if I die, and my stuff will remain in the world for 30 minutes until it just, poof, it's gone. No resource radius, and no resource radius for structures and players. So this was a big one. If you guys remember when I built the Herbivore Island base, that little cove area right in between like the mountain, like the big hill, basically, you guys know what I'm talking about, where the base is now. All that used to have a ton of trees, a ton of like just greenery, all that kind of stuff, rocks, all of it. And I had to destroy all that in order to build my base. And it kind of became just this like desolate area. There was nothing. And I realized that these settings were at 1.0, which is official. Once I moved them down to 0.25 in each category and I went back into the single player, oh my gosh, it makes so much of a difference. All those trees just boop, right back. All the rocks, boop, right back. The vegetation and stuff, boop, right back. And it makes it look so much nicer overall. But 0.25, I've come to realize, does not actually affect, like, it's not going to be like a tree's not growing in your base, basically. It takes the distance of 0.25 away from your last structure and then starts respawning stuff. So you get this nice, like, if you're looking for the background, if you're worried about, like I am when I'm building bases, I always worry about losing all the trees and stuff in the area, because usually that's what makes the area so nice. Have it at 0.25 on your settings in both categories, and I guarantee once you log out and log back in, all that stuff, boop, will respawn, and it just makes it look so much nicer overall. Down the list, crop growth speed. I have this at 5.0, so again, another controversial one, but like taming speed, I don't want to sit around for hours and hours and hours waiting for something to wake up, along with I don't want to wait hours and hours and hours to get carrots, basically. So 5.0, even with the greenhouse effectiveness of 300%, still is going to take a couple hours, honestly. So it takes about an hour to get our first yield of rock carrots and savaroot and stuff like that. And I don't mean like, oh, 100 rock carrots. I mean like 1 or 2. And then I have to wait another 30 minutes to actually get a decent amount, 15 to 20, something like that. So it's still long, but at the same time, it doesn't take days on this. Decay speed, though, I'm going to keep at 1.0, which is just the official. Wild stats and tame stats are all official. Everything is official here. This is just the default settings. Now, this is the setting that changes... Oh, nope, not that one. Tame Dino stats per level. This is 0.14 with damage. Now, this is the default setting, but because we have the oh god, what's it called? Single player settings on, I think this jumps to 1.0, and that's why we're getting dinos 15, 20 levels into melee over 1,000 melee, really. So that's why, honestly. But all these stats are just the default stats. Makes absolutely no difference. Okay. Moving down the list. Okay. None of that stuff, basically. Show floating damage text. Personally, this is just a preference of mine. I like to see how much damage I'm putting. So if you want to see the little damage, like you hit something and it shows, oh, 46. Click this. And that'll basically just show you each time you hit something how much damage you're actually doing to the dino. Custom recipes. This is something we're going to do in the future on the single-player adventure series. This is... So right now, when I'm having food, like if I'm down to 0 food, I have to eat 5 meat in order to get myself back up to 100 food, basically. Custom recipes allow me to make a meal where literally I only have to have 1, and not only can I get myself like the food boost all the way to 100 in just 1 food, I can also figure out how to get hypothermal insulation. I can get myself more oxygen, like almost like a Lazarus Chowder idea, where I can have a little bit more oxygen for going underwater, stuff like that. So custom recipes are really, really fun. They're really cool to kind of dive into and figure out the best combination for yourself. So we'll definitely do something in the future with that. Last but not least is the bottom section here. So all this is just the regular regular settings. This one I'm not going to click. This is raid dino feeding, so this, if checked, a tamed titanosaur, which is that big dino that goes around the island, will consume food in its inventory and stay alive. So apparently, if you do not have this clicked and you tame a titanosaur, it's only going to live for an X amount of time, and then it just dies. Obviously, if you're on servers, that makes sense, because if you have one of these things and this thing can live forever, this thing will just destroy everything in its path, and it's just not fair. So they put it basically as a timer until it just officially dies. If I turn this on, though, and actually have one, I can feed the Titanosaur in order to remain alive and everything like that. So, I'm going to have it off, though, because I don't think we're ever going to tame a Titanosaur, honestly. Maybe in the future, if we're thinking about it, I'll turn that back on, but that's pretty much what it is. The only settings I've fixed down here are 3 different settings. One is the supply crate loot quality, the fishing loot quality, and the structure limit. So let's start with the supply crate. Supply crate loot quality is 5.0. Yeah, it's a little high. So typically, I think the default is 1.0. I could be wrong. I know single player setting does increase it, so I have it at 5, and here's the reason. Yeah, we're going to have that time when we go to a blue drop and there's going to be an ascendant piece in there, which just typically you shouldn't get. But at the same time, when I'm going to a red drop with a ring around it, you still get that damn blueprint for a metal wall. So it works out. Honestly, it does. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but I do often tweak with the setting. 5 is typically like my sweet spot, where I do like it, where you do get a blueprint. It's not absolutely insane to build or anything like that. You do get good stuff overall from it, and it's fair for a single player setting, like for a single player playthrough, where the blueprints aren't too insanely crazy to build. Some of them are, but most of them are fairly doable, let's put it that way. Fishing loot quality is 5. I've only done fishing like once in this game, and that was for the chibi event, the Valentine's event. Remember when we had to fish and stuff to get our chibis? Yeah, that's the only time, and I haven't really done it since. So fishing loot quality is at 5, just in case for the off chance that I do some fishing. But yeah. Fuel consumption is just at the normal 1.16, which that's the default setting. I'm just too lazy to change it. I know I went through that whole rant earlier about having everything even and 3.5 as opposed to 3.2. This is what it is. Whatever. You don't use a lot of fuel anyways in the game, let's be honest. Last but not least, this I did change. This is the increased platform structure limit. So, whenever you're building a raft, at some point you will get a notification saying, oh, you're over the structure limit. That's what this setting is to do with. I have it at 5.0, so virtually I can build a huge raft, an absolute monstrosity, and still be okay. I'm never going to hit that structure limit, essentially. At least I haven't yet. But, yeah, guys, that is going to be it for my settings. So I've went through pretty much everything. A little bit longer of a video. Oh my gosh, 30 minutes literally to go through all this. I know it's a little much, but I did want to go into detail with you guys, like why I had the settings all figured out and everything like that. And, you know. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, smash that like button. Questions, comments, leave them down below. If you do like the content that I'm putting out, definitely subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps me out, guys. If you're not subscribed yet, right in the right-hand corner, just click that little icon thing, and you're subscribed. It's that quick, it's that easy, and I really do appreciate it, guys. Tomorrow, you guys will be getting the next episode for the single-player series. Typically, I put them out Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I thought I might as well just do this just to kind of put a little filler in between, because, again, it has nothing to do with the... I mean, it does have to do with the single-player settings, but, like, single-player, series, but at the same time, it's not gameplay. It's just going over this. So, tomorrow you guys will be getting the new episode. I'm going to record that right now. I have absolutely no idea what it's going to be about. Hopefully you're going to get some new dinos, hopefully, or, I don't know, maybe I'll get a loot drop with, like, a really good, like, Rex saddle or something, and then we don't have to worry about loot. We don't have to worry about, like, Megatherium army and stuff like that. I don't know. The possibilities are endless. But anyways, guys, see you guys tomorrow for the next one. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right? Have a good one, everyone.